You have all this candy out here and a fitness person. Yeah,
it's awful. Well, so the girl I'm on the air with, she's doing sugar-free February. So I bought $30 worth of candy to torture her. And all it's done is give me diabetes over the last... Okay, Amber, my first question out of the gate is, are fitness goals unachievable? There are some goals that are unachievable. You will agree, right?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, good.
Yes.
The bad news is one of those is probably my goal of dunking. Okay, that's fine. No, that's enough answer. Our guest this week is a lifestyle and fitness coach, A.Reed from here in Kansas City. Amber, welcome and thank you.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Now let's talk about fitness and my goal. So October, I made a bet, $1,000 that I could dunk within a year.
Okay.
I've never dunked before.
Okay. We're talking about basketball, not donuts, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yes. So I need to dunk a basketball by October 2nd. When somebody sets any sort of physical goal, whether it's losing a certain amount of weight, achieving some goal, maybe it's run a 5K, run a marathon, an ultra marathon, climb a mountain, whatever it may be. How does somebody go about assessing the reality of that goal? Right?
Yeah.
So how do we do that?
That's
and
a
because
really
I
good
think
question.
I made a mistake, but how? Because there's got to be a lot of factors here.
There are. There's
Okay.
a lot. And I mean, that is a really, really great opening question because we could talk for hours on this.
Okay. I got to imagine because, so here's the thing. My dunk bet, that's just something I want to do, but I didn't really do the math on it, right? So,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking if somebody wants to go, I want to lose 100 pounds in 100 days, right? How does somebody assess that? I mean, does that involve doctors, or would you say don't do it that way, look at it differently? What's my plan?
Well, goal setting, you have to be realistic, but I'm a really big believer in if there is something in your mind for a reason, that seed was planted for a reason, so you should go after it. It does need to be realistic. It does have to be realistic, but the biggest thing is why? Why do you want to be able to dunk a basketball?
Right.
Why? When you
Sure.
you have to figure that part out first, because you can make something realistic, but it's going to be based off time and
Sure.
what factors are against you. So let's use the 100 pounds in 100 days.
Right.
Realistically, health wise, they say 2 pounds a week is healthy to lose.
Okay.
Roughly 1 to 2 pounds healthy. You want to do something okay, I want to lose 100 pounds in 100 days just to say that I did it, or do I want to lose 100 pounds in 100 days and keep it off?
Right.
So that's where the realistic part of your goal setting comes. I actually did a segment on Fox 4 News about this, goal setting.
Okay.
And the biggest thing is figuring out why you're doing it.
Okay.
And then realistically doing the numbers, breaking down your really big goals into smaller goals.
Okay.
So 100 pounds, 100 days. Okay, let's look at both of that. That's a pound a day. That's not realistic.
Okay.
Whenever you're looking at losing 2 pounds within 7 days.
Right.
So let's divide that 100 by 7.
Okay.
And then that would be a pound a week.
Sure, something
So
like that.
something like that is a lot more realistic. You definitely need to do your research. If you do have a goal like that and it's something that you feel oh, this is a dream of mine, something I've never done, 9 times out of 10 you're going to need somebody to help you with it, just for the research part of it.
Okay.
So I definitely think you do need to make sure it is realistic and it's something that is attainable. And you're going to need help for that.
Right.
Because you're in that situation for a reason. Otherwise, you would have dunked a basketball by now already.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So part of my reason was I didn't have enough, I don't even know what the word is. I didn't have a reason enough to dunk a basketball. Yeah, I'd love to, but I didn't really have anything pushing. Now I got $1,000 on it. Now I have public humility also staring me in the face, right? So now I feel like I'm more compelled to do it. My question is, I just don't know if I can. I don't know if it's physically possible for somebody of my height and age specifically to do it.
Yeah.
Right? And so now, and I just want to give up. This is an emotional roller coaster that is annoying and not worth $1,000
and
at all.
Everything that you're talking about is what everybody experiences when they're trying to change something about their body too.
Okay.
Whether it's for the better health, nutrition, they want to give up because they're just like, I don't even know where to start.
Right.
Well, what have you been doing so far to work towards that?
Sure. Me?
Yeah. What have you?
So I go to a physical therapist.
Okay.
My friend Drew owns True Move, and it's a physical therapy place, and so they've been working on the flexibility of my ankle. We've been doing blood flow restriction training on my thighs. We did do a physical test, right? We did the baseline test, and then we tested again. So after 4 months, my vertical leap was up a few inches, right?
Which is great. That's really good.
Right, and I hadn't even been trying that hard.
Exactly.
Admittedly.
Yeah.
So now we have a goal to work out at least 4 times a week. I'm going to go over there a couple times a week. So now I need quantifiable goals, right? I need tell me exactly how many sets and reps to do. So we've worked out that I'm going to work out at least 4 hours a week. And I bought a plyometrics box to jump on.
Yeah,
so I'm doing that. And what else? I have a kettlebell. So I'm doing specific kettlebell things. I don't know. But there are days where I'm like, I'm never going to do it. I should just quit.
Exactly.
It's
Everybody feels that way. You want to know a little secret?
Yes, please.
I feel the same way about myself.
Really?
Absolutely. And I do this for a living. We're human. It's normal.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to. And everything you just told me that you're doing, those are all the little things that you're doing to get to that really big goal that doesn't seem attainable or realistic right now.
Right.
So.
No, there's a book called Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott that somebody gave me once, and it's kind of the same idea, but for writers. Don't go, I'm going to sit down and write a book. You go, I'm going to sit down and write 10 pages. Yeah. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write 1 chapter. It just seems, you don't eat the whole cake in one bite. Yes. You eat, and I don't know why you and I are talking about cake. Bad example.
I love it.
But
no, it's a great example.
You don't eat a whole bag of M&Ms at once. You go M&M by M&M.
Yeah. I love that you use the cake analogy because I can take that even a little bit deeper, and rather than worrying about writing 1 chapter, just start journaling.
Right. Right.
And then guess what? Your journals will either turn into a chapter, or it's gonna create that muscle memory. It's gonna create that engagement in your brain, the creativity, left side, right side, all that stuff. And eventually, when it's time for you to write a chapter, you're not gonna even think about it because you've been journaling.
Yeah, and you've been working that muscle.
Right. So for you, you've already increased 2 inches just from doing these little things that you're like, this isn't working because I'm only up 2 inches, but you're 2 inches up in your vertical now than you were however long ago.
I mean, worst case scenario, I work out for a year and I'm in decent shape. Even if I miss my goal and it costs me $1,000 plus all this equipment that I'm buying today. It's fine. But okay, talk to me. What is the trick to force myself to work out when I don't want to? I know everybody knows that working out is good for you emotionally, physically. It's good for you. It's your whole health is improved by working out and exercising. But so few of us do it. I get up in the morning. I do not. It's everything I can do to make myself. And I would imagine when you're talking about you're doing your classes, what is the conversation that we need to have to convince ourselves to work out when we hate it?
That is a really good question. I just spoke at a meditation thing about this topic.
Okay.
You have such great questions.
Thank you.
Things, I love it.
Thank you.
The biggest thing is actually what I said. I read this in a book. I'm in the middle of reading The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yes.
Love it. Okay. It's great.
Yes.
Because everybody wants to be all rainbows and butterflies.
Sure. And
we have these moments where we're just like, this is terrible. I'm trying to be a radio editor right now with my words. Sorry.
This is awful. Yes.
But this is terrible. I don't want to do this. I'm not seeing anything. Well, the most important thing is to come back to why you're doing it.
Okay.
And then, one thing in that book that I've really adapted and I love is choose your sacrifice. What pain are you willing to live with? Do you want to live with the pain of not feeling good all the time? Or do you want to live with the pain of, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it even though I don't see anything yet?
Choose your sacrifice. Did you come up with that? Or it's in that book.
In the book, it's talking about choosing.
That.
In the book, it's talking about choosing your pain.
Yeah.
But for me, I just related. Choose what are you willing to sacrifice.
Right.
Because for me, a lot of people are talking about, oh, I don't have time to work out. I have this. I have that. The biggest thing is I don't have time, or it hurts to do it. Well, you hurt right now.
Sure.
So do you want to hurt right now because you
can't
can't
walk?
walk?
Do you want the physical pain to come from the workout or from day-to-day life
Exactly.
when your back hurts just for being awake?
Exactly.
Right.
And like, so my group classes, on my total body training classes, I write their workout on the board.
Yes.
Just because it's a visual, it's something that creates something for them to see as I'm still training them through it. And I put a quote just last night, and it said, feel a little bit of pain today so you can live better tomorrow, because it was a brutal workout and I knew they were going to have something to say about it. But it's what you have to do whenever you're thinking about it and you think like, oh, this isn't working. The biggest thing I found personally for myself is whenever I am doing something I don't feel like doing it, 9 times out of 10 that's whenever I see the most growth. And whenever I push past my edge. There's a really awesome quote. I have it right here by my phone that I'm thinking of that I want to tell you.
I'm going to remember that one though. Choose your sacrifice. That's a great line.
Yeah, choose your sacrifice.
Because I can sacrifice an hour for the day, or I can sacrifice this $1,000 and the public humility.
Absolutely. And the greatest thing too,
I love that.
The greatest thing about that is, I'll touch on that in just a second, but I want to read this quote. It's Kristen Lohr, Lohr. But she says, growth is uncomfortable because you've never been here before. You've never been this version of you. So give yourself a little grace and breathe through it. So it's uncomfortable right now. You don't like it because you're uncomfortable. You're not seeing any results right away.
Sure.
But the biggest thing, like, let's say that you don't dunk a basketball.
Right.
But look where you've already come right now.
Sure.
And then that's the whole, like, life it's about the journey, not the destination.
Sure.
So, like, what you discover from now until October is something that you don't even see right now because you haven't been through it.
Right.
It's a new version of yourself.
Right. So whatever happens October 2nd, I'll be different.
Exactly.
Over this year.
You might lose that $1,000. But you're going to have a story to tell about how you lost that $1,000.
Expensive story.
Very expensive story.
But
it's going to have a lot more meaning to you based off of just one simple thing that you started with.
You're right, too. If I lose this $1,000, but I'm steady with my workouts for a year, all of a sudden I've worked out for a year. And I have that forward momentum. And like you said, now I've been, whether it's the journaling to a book or whatever, now I have this steady year of working out and hating it, but knowing that I can still do it despite hating it.
Absolutely.
Right? So
there's times where, like, I'm not a big runner. I have really bad knees, and, like, I had a college injury that just makes it hard for me to run every day, and I was trying to do a mile a day, and I failed at it. But it was
how long were you
I was trying to do it for 30 days in a row, and after 7 days, I couldn't even put my foot on the gas pedal without it hurting with my knee. And so that was something like limitations. And when I look at that, I'm like, I don't like to lose at things. I don't like to fail. So I'm like, ugh. But, like, now looking at it, I could have walked a mile rather than running. And so, like, finding ways. So even that's something where it's still in the back of my mind. But when I was doing that after day 3, I was like, I do not want to run a mile today. And then I would run it, and next thing I know, I'm running 2.5 miles.
Wow.
On a day that I didn't feel like doing it. So if you the hardest thing is starting.
Right.
And you're doing it. You're like, ugh, I don't like this. I don't like this. Do you and the other thing too is, like, how are you measuring, like, maybe on a weekly basis or?
Right. We should maybe start doing that. We measured the baseline right when the bet was made, and then we did it after 4 months.
Okay.
So, I think for me, and Drew even said it, is like, you got to come in more often. I mean, it's just work out more often. Right? There's a slim chance outside of injury that I work out too much for this. Impossible almost, right?
Yeah.
So that's something I know that I can measure every week. How many times do I work out? How many hours, minutes,
Yes,
days?
that's perfect. So you're not even, I love that you found that, because a lot of people automatically go to pictures and measurements and the scale, which is great, but it's not at the same time.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't want to measure how high I could jump too early. Like, I haven't tried to dunk a basketball in 4 months, because I don't want to fail and have it crush me. right? If anything, I want to dunk on a 9-foot goal and go,
Yeah.
oh, I can do that. I can achieve that. I just need to keep edging it up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
I don't want to do that. Like, I'm going to lose weight. Try for a month. And then be defeated based on a number.
Yes, and
on
that's
a
you.
scale.
That's you already breaking down your goal into smaller because you're like, well,
Yeah.
well, let's do a 9-foot goal instead of what is it, 12 feet?
It's 10.
10.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, go down to a 6-foot goal.
Right.
Get comfortable with that,
Right.
and then go up to a 9 and things like that. But
Yeah.
even you're breaking it down even more. And you're doing it by how many days am I working out?
Right.
And I also want to really encourage you, do something you enjoy out of one of those days.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because if you're doing something you don't enjoy, you're not going to keep doing it. And
Video games and beer, right? No, that's not what you mean. Right?
I mean,
you
that's
mean something
really,
that will help me jump.
Yeah. Or it doesn't even, I mean, yes, you're already doing things that are helping you jump, but do one workout a week that you enjoy that might not even be relevant to helping you jump.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be like, all right, I have these 3 days, but this day I'm going to do yoga. For me, like, I fell in love with yoga. I've done so many different types of training because I was an athlete in college, Olympic style, weightlifting, all of it. A year ago, I completely stopped lifting. Altogether, hated it, couldn't do it. It was worse than a job, which was so funny because I went full-time training because I wanted to just work out all day every day, and I hated it. I was like, this is terrible. Well, I found something else, yoga, total body, things where I wasn't even in the gym. I changed my environment and I changed what I was doing, but still getting a similar result. And I fell in love with it to where now it's like, okay, if I do yoga 4 days a week, then I can hit the gym 2 days a week. That'll be okay.
Right.
That'll be all right.
Okay.
So same for you.
Yeah,
you're doing
I
all
do
this
like
jumping
yoga.
and all these plyo things, and yoga would be amazing for you because you're talking about like your ankle flexibility and all that.
Well, so a couple of years ago, I did yoga for 99 days in a row.
Wow.
I know. What idiot stops at 99? Do 100. That's the worst. I'm the worst. So I didn't do 100. I did 99 days in a row. My wife teaches yoga.
Okay.
And that's another thing where I'm like, I like it. I'm like, oh. And I need to force it. Right. Choose your sacrifice. Because I'm great at, I'm getting really good at Overwatch and PUBG, which are 2 online games. I need to stop with that.
So find something.
But I had a goal. I want to be good at those.
But can you multitask? Can you do that and be on the treadmill or something at the same time?
That's
or the
a good
bike?
idea.
I think the bike would be really great for you because you're really
Okay.
pushing through like the balls of your feet.
Yeah.
Everybody's, bikers, their calf muscles and legs are just ridiculous.
That's a good point.
So now you're finding a way to tie 2 things
Come on,
in.
Amber. I'm going to video game on the treadmill.
Yeah,
Genius.
do it.
That needs to be like a place where you could combine.
That's great.
Like a bunch of bikes with.
We need to patent that right now. We're
right
announcing
now. Nobody
it right
steal
now.
that.
Nobody gets
We're marking
this.
it down.
Brady
it's
and Amber.
Trademarked. It's trademarked. I want to talk to you about. You brought up meditation. Do you meditate? Talk to me about what type of meditation you do. This is another thing that I want to do, and again, I just.
Yes, I do. I do a lot of different types.
Okay.
I haven't done a lot of guided meditation.
Okay.
I recommend it for if you're not going to take a yoga class and you're just going to try it out on your own. I would recommend you can YouTube meditation.
Yeah.
And you can be down to specific. You can do meditation for stress relief, meditation for anxiety, whatever it is that you feel like you need it. You can look it up on YouTube and they have the guided meditation. So in yoga, you've done it, the very last pose at the end is Shavasana.
Yeah.
So that's your meditation for 3 minutes after you've gotten that physical activity, which is really great because you've pushed yourself to a point where it's just like, I can just lay here now and not think about anything and let my body just lay. For other things in meditation is just breathing. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Do it 10 times, 2 minutes. There's lots of apps, too, that you can set your timers.
I like 10% Happier is a guided meditation app that really is pretty cool because it allows you to choose how long you want to do meditation and what function you want out of it to de-stress.
I love it.
To just mindfulness or whatever it is. 10% Happier. I like Russell Simmons, who I know has kind of a stink on his name now because of recent news. He wrote a book called Success Through Stillness, and his thing is sit for 20 minutes. He There's no guided anything.
Yes.
He just says 20 minutes, and he even says twice a day. He says he's very minimal on goals or anything. And that's what I like about yoga and meditation. You can tweak it to what you want and or need.
Yes.
Right? You can do 5 minutes of yoga. You can do an hour and a half of hot yoga. You can do yoga that's about back flexibility or sitting in an office.
Right.
So I love yoga for that. And my wife said yoga is like a soft introduction into meditation.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And
yes,
I want to
yes.
meditate so bad.
And the biggest thing, so I always tell people when I'm teaching yoga or I'm talking about teaching yoga is it's a game as Simon says. And the reason why that's hard for people is especially somebody that's never done yoga. Okay, this is a game as Simon says. You have to shut off your brain or you're not going to hear what I'm saying. Because there's a certain percentage of what people actually hear from what you say. Like 20% of what you say they actually hear.
Right, because they're thinking, what am I going to say
exactly.
next?
So you tell somebody to go into downward dog, what?
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Instead of, if you turn your brain off, you're not even thinking about questioning what that is, and you're going to listen to send your hips up and back towards the back wall, to where you're not thinking, you're literally reacting for yoga. The same thing for meditation. It is a really soft entrance, and that's what I love yoga because it's based off the person. My yoga practice, you could do the exact same thing that I could do physically, but you could feel something 100% different than what I feel.
Right. Have you done the sensory deprivation float tanks yet?
No, I've been seeing it.
So there's one over in Waldo. There's one that's just about to open out south. And I think there's one up north as well, just that we work with through the radio station. And I know they have some float therapy. But it's trippy. It's forced meditation, which sounds like two words that shouldn't go together, right on some level?
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't force it.
But you kind of have to, honestly, even that's something to help people that can't force it internally with themselves. Like they need that external, tangible thing to make them do that, if that makes sense. It's
the sensory deprivation flow tank. I'm a big fan of.
I need to try that. Definitely. I'm going to. You'll have to give me a name at the Waldo place or something.
Yeah, it's Float KC. And I like, that's where I go, but I haven't done it very much because it's awesome. Try that out. Okay, I want to talk, because you do work with women and kids primarily.
Yeah.
Let's talk about kids, health. I know, look, I have 3 daughters, 9 and under. I know
which
how
are
busy,
adorable on your Instagram, by the way.
Thank you. That's nice of you to say. So I know how difficult and crazy a family life can be. Talk to me about kids and making sure they're fitting in fitness. Right. Because it's obviously, everybody knows it's important, but it's difficult. Do you just go back to, choose your sacrifice?
Yes, essentially, yes. But here's the thing is, I am a big believer in if parents are going to invest in their kids a lot faster before they think twice about investing in themselves, or they're not going to think twice about investing in their kids. Before they invest in themselves. Yeah. So if I tell you, Brady, this training session is going to be $200 for you today. How do you want to pay? You're going to be like, let me think about it. What's one of your daughter's names? Bridgen. Okay, Bridgen's training session is going to be $200 today.
Sure.
And she's going to get all these benefits. Same benefits I'm telling you, you would get personal. Yeah. Okay, when do I pay? How do I pay?
Right.
So, that is part of why I target kids, is because parents don't think twice. And 9 times out of 10, the kids are a reflection of the parents. So if the kids are getting better, the kids become the influence for the parents.
Right.
Because there's times where you look at your child and you're like, wow, this is my motivation. This is why I'm living. And then if you see your child becoming better, what's that going to do for you?
Yeah. Well,
what does that make you want to do?
Yeah, I think you're right. And there's a lot of things you can give your kids, but to set them off on a healthier lifestyle is going to have so much more impact than almost anything I can think of, right?
Do you work out with your wife?
I do not.
Okay. Have you ever?
We do yoga every once in a while.
Okay, so you guys have done yoga.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your relationship gets closer?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing for sure, right?
Yeah. So think about what that's going to be if you do that with your children.
Okay, Amber, dropping some knowledge.
Yeah.
Mark that down. That was a good one. You're right.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, and I think that's the biggest struggle these days. Is I think probably one of the biggest complaints. I don't have kids, but I have a lot of friends with kids, and I do a lot of research. They don't feel connected with their kids because they're working a 9 to 5. They're dropping their kids off at the babysitter. They have just enough time to make dinner and put their kids to bed, wake up, get them ready for school, and they're out the door. That is an essential time for you to bond with your child.
Right. Well, and I think not only is there a little bit of a time crunch, but I think as a parent, you just assume, oh, they're doing recess. They're, and you assume probably they're getting, they're playing outside.
Which is great. You do assume that, but it's just...
It's bad because they're probably not getting...
Yeah.
It's not the impactful exercise.
And it's not even... And you know what? Honestly, they're kids. They're going to be active. Unless they do have health issues and they are overweight, which there are a lot of kids that are overweight because of nutrition and things. But that's a whole nother,
podcast.
Yeah, for sure. Whole nother podcast. But as far as an activity level for kids, it's one of those things where you're talking about, it'd be good for them to be active. And I'm going to tell you, break that down even smaller, your goals. Do you want to bond with your kids a little bit more? Do you want to find a way just to impact your kids and influence them? I have some single moms, sometimes they have to bring their kids to work out, and I never turn them down. I always say, if your kid's well behaved and they listen, then yes, you can bring your children, sign a waiver. If they get hurt, it's not on me. But and they bring all these games, they bring iPads, all this stuff. Within 5 minutes, the kids are up next to the parents doing what the parents are doing because they just want to be involved. They just want to be with their parents and do what they're doing. Yeah. So that is something that builds on the prize is that $1,000 prize for you. If you get to dunk a basketball, that's your $1,000 prize. And the prize for the parents working out with their kids is them just having a healthy, active lifestyle. Yeah. But essentially, the journey is them bonding with their kids, influencing their kids, showing them what it's like to make yourself a priority. So that way, you're automatically breaking the mold with your children to where, as you're raising them, they know it's important to make themselves a priority.
We certainly stress the importance of education around the house, and so I think I need to, also bring health into that. It's just,
honestly, you don't even have to say specifically to health, because sometimes people, they hear that word, they're like, oh, here we go, it's just a phase, but it's self-care, taking care of yourself. You sacrificing time to work out is a form of self-love for yourself.
I want to talk real quick about social media. Okay. On Instagram, you're heavy on there. Amber_Reed, 2 E's, 123. Amber_Reed, 123. A.Reed Fitness. Facebook, Amber.Reed, 123. You do really well. Is it ever weird, though, to be on Instagram and be in yoga pants and sports bras? Because I'm very, let's see, I hate cameras, I hate taking pictures, and I have to do it a lot. I can't imagine doing it in workout clothes. Is that weird?
Well, I actually had a friend ask me last week when the last time I wore real pants was and not yoga pants my answer was, I've worn real pants 3 times in the last year.
Wow, really?
So, but okay, before that, this is also my profession, but I was a nurse before I was a trainer. Okay. So I was in scrubs, I had to dress up sometimes, all that. And at first, just thinking about me, looking at those Instagram models and seeing people in a sports bra and pants and things like that, I felt like I had to do that even though I wasn't comfortable in my own skin doing it. I'm like, I need to do it. So then I'll work out more. I'll make sure I have abs. I look great. That's false.
Really?
It's really just it's something that it's just those little steps building up. I never I didn't want to take my shirt off. Even I did bodybuilding and all that, and I still wasn't taking my shirt off. Yoga helped just because you get so hot and sweaty. Yeah. And it just created through meditation and really focusing on myself and loving myself is where I didn't think twice about taking off my shirt, and it's more about comfort than looking aesthetically pleasing.
Do you feel though some people are on Instagram and go, I'm never going to look like that? It's almost raising the average bar to a point where most of us in America are unhealthy, right? And then the people we see working out are such the extreme other end that it's almost having a negative
I'll eat
effect.
Another cookie while I'm eating my ice cream,
I'll
scrolling
never
through.
Be there.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree with that completely, and that is why you don't see a lot of pictures of me like with my shirt off or like extra like it's not about sex appeal.
Sure.
It's about more
I know.
motivation
That's the
with
problem with
and
the
that's-
internet
it
because
is.
it turns into that.
Yes, it
right?
is.
Like I go on because I've been doing kettlebells right off a YouTube channel. And without a doubt, I'm doing it with this channel in part because she's good to look at for half an hour.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm going to watch somebody work out and make me swing a kettlebell,
Yeah.
I'm going to want it to be aesthetically pleasing, right?
Absolutely.
So, and it's sad because, hey, I'm going to show you a yoga workout, but the internet's going to put its pervy stink on it.
It is. It's hard, and I hate it too because it makes my job harder.
Right.
Because especially being a woman, like
Right.
they're like, oh, let's do this. Let's get some boy shirts. Let's do some like boot,
Right,
like all
right.
that type of photography. And
Right.
I'm just like, I could do that. I
Right.
could pull it off, but that's not my message.
I'm just trying to do yoga. Right?
Yeah.
And I have to
Yeah.
wear yoga pants so that my
Yeah.
pants don't fly all over the place.
Absolutely.
Also, what are dudes supposed to wear when they do yoga? Because it's weird. I can't wear yoga pants. And I have tights.
Yeah.
But I still have
Shorts.
to wear like shorts over them.
Don't-
And then when I put my legs up, they get all bunched. It's weird. Trust me. I'm telling
Brady's
you.
showing me this right now. I wish you guys could see
No,
what he's doing.
Listen, more dudes would do yoga if we could figure out what we were supposed to wear. Shorts. But they have to be fairly tight, or else you don't want the. You don't.
I mean,
right?
I don't have that experience of
Well,
the male
trust me.
problems, but
It's difficult. It's difficult.
I see a lot of guys. They might wear like shorter, like tighter shorts, but those are guys that are like really into that.
Right.
That's not your average guy.
Right.
All of my guy friends that I've had come to my classes, they just gym shorts and a t-shirt, or they might take their shirt off.
It in. It's a whole thing.
Or they just take their shirt off.
Yeah.
And that's what I love so much about yoga. I mean, I love total body training, resistance training, but what I specifically love about yoga is when you're on your mat, you're on your mat. You're not looking at who's next to you, because if you do, you're going to miss whatever the teacher told you to do next, to where you're literally in your zone, not thinking about anything but what you're doing. So it's the same thing with like, and I say that because there's 200-pound men that rip their shirt off and don't think twice about it. But if you go to a gym and tell them to take their shirt off, they're not going to do it.
Oh, right.
Because they're overstimulated. There's eyes everywhere. Everybody's looking at what everybody else is doing. Yoga, you're on your mat. You have to figure out what you're doing, or you're going to miss something.
Well, and because that's what...
You don't have time to think about it.
Cruising into meditation, yoga is about that balance, and you do have to focus, and you really have to work that focus muscle. Right. It's Reed.fit is the website. Tell me the services you do, or how we can find more, why we need more Amber in our life.
Why you need more Amber in your life. Can we make another podcast about that?
Yes, why? It would go on for days.
Yeah.
Why do we need more Amber in our life? And what are you going to do when you join our lives?
Yeah.
Bring us on a journey.
Bring you on a
with
journey.
With Amber.
Yes. Something that I really, like, my slogan is live your story. Everybody has a story. For me personally, like, I've collaborated with a lot of people in the fitness industry, and it's been amazing because I've learned so much. But at the end of the day, I always was getting pulled to be by myself on my own, because that was my story that I realized, like, that's part of my story. But I was living through other people trying to do, well, I found, like, my niche and what I love, which is women and kids, group training, total body training, yoga. And for me, like, I promote the same thing with all of my clients. They're like, oh, you make it look so easy. You make this look so easy. Well, this is what's meant for my body. And you going through this journey, you're going to find what's meant for your body also. Mm-hmm. So, I do a lot of pop-up events.
Okay.
I work with the Leia Center. I have some things coming up. There's a free clinical meditation clinic, actually. So you talking about this meditation stuff is awesome. It's in less than a month. What month is it?
It's February now.
Yeah, it's on my Facebook also.
Okay.
February 27th.
What's a meditation? February 27th.
It's a Tuesday evening.
What is a meditation clinic?
So I have a vlog that I'm going to post at the end of this week. So definitely keep an eye on, like, my Instagram. So you'll get a little feel of what that's like. But it's with me and another person, and we're just teaching people, like, what is meditation? How do I get there? What do I do? And just talking about what I talked to you today about, like, sacrifices. What is it that you're looking for? Different things like that. Okay. So all those just questions that you're unsure about. It's a really safe space. quiet.
Cool.
It's really awesome.
I know the Buddhist Center here in town does meditation clinics, and I'd like to go to one of those.
Yeah.
But again, it's kind of intimidating. It's like the thought of going into a Gold's Gym to start working out. Right. Buddhists are probably the Gold's Gym of meditation.
I've never been there.
I haven't either.
The
but
Leia
it's
Center
appealing to me.
Yeah, which I can completely understand why. So the Leia Center, what I really love about it, it's really small and secluded. Like we had about 10 people there.
Nice.
But it didn't feel overcrowded, but it didn't feel like I'm the only person here. So it's really awesome. I definitely recommend it. Anybody that is unsure about meditation or just needs that one person, that in-person connection to help to where then they get more comfortable doing the YouTube things on their own. Because there's times where I'm like, I feel like such a crazy person if somebody were to walk in and see me meditating and listening. But it's getting out of your own way.
Here's the problem with YouTube and working out or meditating is I'll go onto YouTube and I'll search workout and then I'll spend half an hour looking for the perfect one and like, oh, well, next time I'll use it. I don't end up. Here, one more question.
Okay.
And this involves a weird story about me. Have you seen on Facebook the Jazzercise piece of equipment where you put it in your... Have you seen that?
Oh my.
Okay, so you put it in your mouth and then you like chew on it and it's supposed to make your jawline stronger. And then because I have this double chin thing that I cannot get rid of. Have you heard of Jazzercise?
Jazzercise.
Google it real quick and you'll see what it is, okay? So I saw the ad come up and they're like $60, right? And you put it in your mouth and you chew on it. So do you see it?
Yeah. Okay, well...
Go ahead.
Tones the face muscles.
Yes.
There's somebody doing it in a gym.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so you put it in your mouth and you chew and it makes your... I need a stronger jawline, right?
Or you could just eat better.
Hey, choose your sacrifice.
This guy is pumping iron like...
Let me see.
In the middle of this gym, veins popping out of his shoulders and everything.
Weird. So you know what
that reminds me of like the what's that game that you put that thing in your mouth?
Oh yeah, watch your mouth or whatever.
Yeah, just use that.
So you know what that reminds me of? In Pulp Fiction, the Gimp, right? Wake up, the Gimp sleeping, and so I searched that on Amazon, and now on Amazon it's all whips and chains and stuff. It's very inappropriate. Very inappropriate. So how do I get rid of my double chin? Is that just pure diet? Is there a workout that I can do? Can I make my jawline? Yes, I need a better jawline. Or is this just what I'm stuck with?
It's not what you're stuck with.
Okay. I need... Is it like the head stuff?
Push your neck out and have really bad posture like you're a peacock or something.
Does that work?
All the time.
I need something to... Okay, I don't know.
It's honestly, it goes back to what you're doing right now just to be able to dunk your basketball.
Okay,
small
focus on
little
that.
Things.
And then maybe
small
if I
little things.
can dunk, my double chin will go away. So she does classes. She'll do lifestyle coaching. She will work with businesses as well. You can find her online, Reed, 2 E's, Reed.fit, on Instagram, Amber_Reed123, on Facebook, Amber.Reed123 as well. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for being on this podcast. Now, my final question is, do you think I can do it?
Yes!
Liar!
Yes!
Liar!
Let's do it. Well, I don't know what your vertical is right now, but
right.
You got a gear.
You have to say yes.
But I do. I believe in you, Brady.
Thank you.
I believe in you. Doubt your doubts.
Thank you, Amber. At least I got a good positive
I'll be
attitude.
your cheerleader.
Thank you.
No, honestly, though, what I believe is I think you're going to discover something about yourself over these next 10 months. So no matter what. I really believe you're going to discover something about yourself that you had no idea you could do.
Now that's more pressure to learn something. No. I just want $1,000. That's all I want.
Maybe you'll find a sponsor that will give you a consolation prize.
Always with the positive attitude. I like it a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amber. Why do I keep messing that up? Reed.fit. Our guest is Amber Reed on this episode of BG Dunks 2018. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
That was good. Amber
that was awesome. We got to do this again.
Right? It was great. Raw. I had a blast.
That was really great.
It was fun, right?
Yeah.
It is fun just to, because that's what I like about podcasting is it would be really weird for us to have a half an hour conversation, like this, with intent and goals, you know what I mean? And it just, so, same thing with Andrew from Landlock. I mean, for him and I to sit down for an hour, we could chum it up and be buddies, but you just don't have the same intensity on it all.
That honestly, like, that podcast is my life. Like, that's just like, I'm really lucky and blessed that I'm able to, and I think that's why I'm in a business of serving people, is like that interaction is like every day for me.
It's fun.
Just normal. Love it. You get it. You interview people.
Yeah. I like it. And
just happens to be recorded now.
Right. Which I think is a good thing, right?